Okay, first, before getting to anything else, Neil Gaiman! Alright, now that that's out of the way, I have a confession to make. I've never read Neverwhere before. Okay, not 100% accurate. A few years ago I picked it up, read a few chapters, put it down, and never really picked it back up again. I was a flaky teenager, don't judge me! Point being, I can't be a super awesome judge of the accuracy of the radio show to the book. I am pretty familiar with Gaiman in other things though, books, comics, TV shows. The Doctor's Wife, am I right? So I feel like I can hold this up to my past experiences with Gaiman and kind of gauge it that way. For the uninitiated, and without spoiling anything, it's a story of Richard Mayhew, this regular Scottish dude living in London. One night he rescues this girl, Dor, by accident. She has the ability to open magic doors and comes from a place called London Below. Spooky bad guys, Misters Croup and Vandemar are after her, and Richard sort of gets swept up into this whole adventure. Along with some new friends, they have to traverse the yellow brick road, I mean London Below, to find the wizard. I mean, the Angel Islington. Jeez, why do I keep getting that confused? All kidding aside, this is a fantastic book. Listening to it as a radio show was a really interesting experience. I think it was really well handled as far as auditory storytelling goes, and this is coming from somebody with experience. Last spring I adapted Alan Moore's Watchmen into a radio show. Let me tell you though, there is nothing more hilarious than hearing Rorschach try different line readings of bean juice. At any rate, the sound design is lovely and the casting is brilliant. However, that's also kind of a source of problems. See, one of the great things about books is that you can imagine the characters however you want to up to a certain point. Movies are different because you've got the actors right there showing you what they look like. Obviously. A radio show not having a visual element seems like it would be more like a book in that regard. Though I guess voices do influence you somewhat. Now, Neverwhere is blessed with a really fantastic cast of stars. You got James McAvoy as Richard, Natalie Dormer as Dor, Christopher Lee is the Earl of Earl's Court, Mr. Croup is Anthony Head, and the Angel of Islington is just voiced spectacularly by Benedict Cumberbatch. The problem is that being so familiar with these actors, I couldn't help but picture them as the characters, and it even was to the point where I just sort of was picturing them in a recording booth. The other actors I wasn't really familiar with, so I was able to picture the characters however I wanted, but this caused this weirdness where I had this really solid picture of certain characters and a vague idea of others. It felt a little weird. Another difficulty I had was something I can't really blame it for because it's just sort of the nature of the thing. I just found myself missing Gaiman's narration. They did, I think, a really good job of portraying scene as best as they could without resorting to weird, awkward exposition by the characters. But the knowledge that there was some awesome Gaiman narration that I was missing out on was just kind of frustrating. I guess I better just read the book. One last thing I want to talk about, though, is the final track. I really appreciated it because it contains bloopers and alternate scenes. Aside from being super hilarious, I just thought it was cool because I did something really similar in my own radio show. Just kind of a little connection there. I was kind of neat. My favorite outtake was James McAvoy was ad-libbing, and he says to the Angel Islington, "Oh, you're an angel." Stupid joke. But Benedict Cumberbatch says in his perfect deadpan voice, "Never heard that one before." Okay, I can't do it. I don't know. You know. I seriously lost it. All in all, this radio show was really, really awesome to listen to, and it's definitely piqued my interest in listening to more audiobooks and radio shows in the future. I mean, besides Welcome to Night Vale.
Can't quite figure out how to say bean juice. Try juice. Try juice. 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 None of it sounds right.